Although we will study it later, some because I feel if it is covered now, it's interesting. Some acids that we encounter in daily life, okay, and some of their aspects, like say, there is an acid which is known as methanoic acid, and you should be very particular with its formulas and all. Methanoic acid, right? Methanoic acid is the IUPAC name. It's formic acid. Formic acid. The formula is HACOOH. HCOOH. Right. Children, this is a organic acid. So organic acids always have a COOH group, which you'll not understand now, but as you go to carbon and its compounds, you'll understand. Every organic acid has a COH group. This group is known as, keep writing so that when we study, then they don't become alien for you. Carboxylic acid group. Carboxylic acid group. So you attach H with it, it becomes. Okay. Do you want to know a little bit more details of it? The carboxylic acid group is something like this. Carbon has valency of 4. Carbon has valency of how much? 4. Not related to this chapter, but not, it is in your grade 10, it will be coming in carbon and its compounds. Carbon has valency of 4. So out of those 4 valencies, it will form a double bond with oxygen. And there will be another group called the hydroxy group. This is not base, huh? This is alcohol group, hydroxy. We'll learn later. So how many valencies satisfied, children? 3 satisfied. 1 is still pending, and that one is like this, open, single, ready to mingle. So H comes, then it becomes, so all acids will be like this. Now ethanoic acid, our acetic acid was what? CH3COH. So CH3 comes here. So this group has to be there for organic acids, okay? Now formic acid or methanoic acid, which is known as HACOOH, is actually ant bite. Whenever an ant bites you, it actually injects formic acid into your body, okay? Except one insect. That insect is known as wasp. Hindi में जिसको बोलते हैं खटमल. Wasp will actually inject a base in your body. So if you get an ant bite, acid has gone in your body, your treatment is to apply a base. So the common bases which you will get in your hand at your home will be the first, baking soda. Mama, we don't bake cakes, we don't have baking soda. Toothpaste. Immediately apply toothpaste. If you have the white Colgate, the most desi Colgate, the white one, immediately apply it on any of these bites, it will soothe you out. Or else if you have raw papaya, you know raw papaya? Papaya is basic. So take that raw papaya and just brush it on your body. Achha, have you, I don't know how many of you love eating citrus fruits. When I say citrus, it's like gooseberry, amla, kacha khana, olives, eat it. After you eat too much of citrus fruit, do you feel that your teeth has sharpened out, you know? That citrus effect has come. So in our childhood, we used to have a lot of olives, a lot of amlas. But after that, immediately Ariyesh has invited me for some food at his home. Now you'll not get the taste of food because your teeth have become very sour. So the best way is cut some pieces of papaya, raw papaya, and just bite them like a monkey. Cut. Immediately your teeth's acid portion will be taken care of. Okay, this is one. Then tooth decay. Whenever we have tooth decay, the decay happens due to the acidic environment. Whenever you have acid accumulation, it will actually foster bacterial growth. Similar to tooth decay, suppose if you use a lot of cow dung and organic compost in the soil, these are organic, so they make the soil more acidic. So whenever we eat food and you don't brush properly, then what happens? The food remains in your tooth and it will create an acidic environment. And have you sensed this? Suppose you're traveling by bus, you have had a good toothbrush, you rinsed your mouth, but if you travel in your bus, you keep your mouth closed for a long time, your breath is no more fresh. That happens because oxygen is not going in, bacterial infestation starts. So tooth decay happens due to acidic environment. That's why we use toothpaste which are basic in nature. Kya aapke toothpaste mein namak hai? There has to be an ad. So your toothpaste has to be basic, right? Then soils, as we treat soil. So this is what you call methanoic acid and ant bite. Then something called tooth decay. These are all related to neutralization reaction. Tooth decay will happen only when the environment is acidic. If you have too much of acidic food, tooth decay is certain for you. Okay. Then soil. You have soils which are highly acidic. If the soil is highly acidic and you are adding more and more compost, you are actually damaging the soil. You are increasing its acidity. So what you should add a lot of base, calcium carbonate powder, tuna, you should add on it. And if the soil is very basic, then you should treat it with more of compost. So it doesn't mean, like, people have a common idea, you know, you go and you see their flower plants on their planters and all, they'll say, thoda sa na isme manure de dena, thoda sa gobar de dena, give little bit of cow dung, give little bit of compost. No, not like that. Who knows that the soil is already acidic? You are adding more acid to it, not that way. Your acidity should be, it should be neutral. When we study pH, we'll learn about that. Okay, this is one. Then acidity after food. Once you have acidity after food, which is acid reflux, you're supposed to have a base. Either you can have a base like a aluminum hydroxide like digen, or you can have sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate, which is known as sodium bicarbonate, not carbonate. Sodium bicarbonate, which is your baking soda. So all, have you seen Eno? So Eno, the Eno is and all are all baking soda. So there, once you empty the sachet, immediately you will see effervescence coming up. So releasing a lot of CO2. So that will go inside. In fact, if you want to make very good bhatures, chola bhatura, then Eno is a very good ingredient. I don't know how many of you know about it. If you make your dough with Eno, you add a little bit of Eno, then it is like much better. It will give your, the impact is much better than baking powder. Okay. Acha, baking powder, although these are salts, we will study them baking powder time. This I just wanted to share with you. Clear? Another thing I wanted to share was something called aqua regia. Heard about it? Aqua regia, very dangerous. Aqua regia is a mixture. Aqua regia is a mixture, and it is known as freshly prepared mixture. Freshly prepared mixture means the mixture will be prepared only when it is necessary. It is not stable. It is a dangerous thing. It's a mixture of HNO3, concentrated nitric is to concentrated hydrochloric in the ratio of 1:3. Goldsmiths use this, jewelers use it, and this has the property to even dissolve. It can dissolve noble metals like gold, silver. It can dissolve everything. Aqua regia. Aqua regia is a freshly prepared. Aqua regia is never available in the market. Aqua regia is prepared when you want it. बना के नहीं रख सकते, because it creates something called NOCl and chlorine. They act as agents and they will do. But you should know as a name, it's the freshly prepared solution. It's a mixture, and it's a mixture of HNO3 is to HCl, concentrated 1:3. Deadly dangerous. Okay? And it can dissolve all these. Something like sugarcane juice. Do you know sugarcane juice? Sugarcane juice you can never bottle. Sugarcane juice is to be had immediately. If you buy the sugarcane juice, then bottle, you fill it in bottle. By the time you come home, it will be all black. It is supposed to be had only fresh. Okay? These two things I wanted to say. So now today we come to some properties of acids. So two properties I'll say. Acids have a sour taste. I think there's nothing new. Acid turns blue litmus into red. Okay. One more thing we discussed was acids show their property only in water, that is aqueous solution. A concentrated acid, 100%, no acid is 100% concentrate. If you bring 100% concentrated acid, it will do nothing. Okay. The best example is, you know this thing, this is called HCl. Now HCl can be in two forms. HCl is a gas, then we call it hydrogen chloride gas. And HCl aqueous means what? Hydrochloric acid. This one will show its impact on litmus. This one will not show impact on litmus. If you take a litmus paper and you move it in a zone where there is HCl gas, nothing will happen. Because HCl gas is unable to release H+. Very interesting. But if the HCl gas is dissolved in water, it becomes, if you bubble HCl gas in water, what are you creating? Dilute hydrochloric acid. Then the litmus paper test will be shown. You're very, very careful in exam. Huh? When they say, will the HCl show its reaction with litmus paper? Always look at the state. If the state is aqueous, it will show. It will turn blue litmus into red. But if it is a gas, it will not show. Why doesn't it show? Because it doesn't release H plus. That is one of the examples where we say for example, you have an acid which is, say, acetic acid, CH3COH, or you take, say, sulfuric acid. One is an organic and one is a mineral acid. And you actually put them into a beaker. You put them into a beaker and you design a small circuit. The circuit can be a cell, and with this cell you can connect a bulb and put both the probes into this solution, right? Competency based question. This is to test whether you used to do in grade 8, strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. So if this electrolyte is an acid, this bulb will grow up because you will be having H plus ions here and CH3CO minus, or you will have H2 plus ions and SO42 minus. But if this solution was something like, say, glucose, C12, or say sugar, C12H22O11, this is sugar. If you would have a sugar solution, this bulb will not glow. Because sugar, just because you have hydrogen does not mean that you will release H plus. Do you get it? Alcohols do not release H plus. Let's see the formula of an alcohol, CH3OH. This is methanol. Methanol will not release H plus. H plus releasing person will actually release ions. H plus is an ion, and then the bulb will glow. So such questions may also come. That what does it demonstrate? It demonstrates that one compound is acidic, the other compound is not acidic. Is this explanation understood by everyone? Is there any doubt? Which?
The HCl aqueous one.
The HCl aqueous one. This one you want to say? Okay. Acids show their effect only when they can release H plus. Acids can release H plus only in aqueous medium. That means there should be water. Only in water acids will release H plus. If I don't release H plus, I am not an acid. So when you take dilute hydrochloric acid, which is HCl aqueous, it will turn blue litmus into red. But if you wave a litmus paper over, say, a fuming fumes of HCl gas, it will not turn red. The reason being that this is not in aqueous medium. It is not unable to release its H plus. To release H plus, you have to give aqueous medium. That's what I'm trying to say out here. And same becomes for concentrated. Even if this acid was, say, 100% concentrated, it will not show any acidic property. Because to show acid, Acha, have you played Chinese checker? Chinese checker always has one hole vacant. Have you seen? If all the holes were occupied, then obviously you can't move your coin. So it's like that. In order to show acidity, it has to have water. Where will I release my H plus? Got it? Shall we now go to reactions of acids? Come. So our first reaction, again, acids reacts with metal to form metal salt and will release hydrogen gas. We are studying this now from the first chapter. What are the things we should now I'll not teach this reaction again. I'll be teaching you things which you should now develop. From this particular topic, I may be asked for H2 test. Tell me, children, do you know what is H2 test? Bring a lighted matchstick near the hydrogen evolution. You will always see a pop-up sound, that the matchstick will burn with pop-up sound, okay? Flame will go. This thing can be asked to me as an example of single displacement reaction. So many questions can be combined. Single displacement reaction, right? This can also form a part of redox reaction, right? This can, I'll come to this. This can also form a part of redox. This is a redox reaction. This can also form a part of reactivity series related questions. This can also form a part of food safety related questions. Food safety means if somebody tells you, why should pickles not be stored in metallic containers? Pickles contain acid, no matter how strong or how weak they may be. They may react with the metal and produce toxic salts, which can be carcinogenic or toxic for us. This is one question that we have answered. So if you see achars or pickles, they're always made in glass bottles or porcelain containers, right? Then comes reactivity series. If you see the reactivity series, we used to say, please stop calling me a zebra, instead try learning how copper saves gold. So the reactivity series questions can be, who all can displace the hydrogen from the acid? So if you react dilute hydrochloric acid with copper, what I'm trying to say, if you react dilute HCl and you try to react it with copper, the copper will not be able to displace this hydrogen, right? Because copper is below hydrogen. Understood? Copper is below hydrogen. So you can, is this question understood? Food safety related. Is this question understood? Reactivity series means they may ask you, they may give you two different reactions, and I can, they see, nobody will ask you a direct question now. They may give you two reactions and say which one will occur and which one will not occur. State reasons. The reason is that only a more reactive metal can displace a less reactive element. More reactive displaces a less reactive. Here the less reactive is the hydrogen. What is acid? Acid is basically HX, where H is the cation and X is the anion. HCl, HNO3, H2SO4, right? This will react with a metal. A metal is always an M. The metal always forms a cation. All metals always will form cations. They will never form anions. The metal will react with the anion and form MX, right? And hydrogen gas is liberated. Let's see the reaction in a generic form. A metal will always form metal N plus and release N number of electrons. If I was sodium, I am from group 1, I will release 1 electron and form Na plus. If I am magnesium, I will release 2 electrons and become Mg2 plus. For your, again, for your grade level, see, Ishita, this time also that mistake happened. So we should be very clear what all will be asked to us. Sodium, potassium, these two are in group 1. In group 2, we have beryllium, magnesium, calcium. These are important for you. In group 3, we have aluminium and boron. Boron is not that much dealt, aluminium is dealt. So aluminium will become Al3 plus 3 electron, right? Fine. So we will have n numbers of positive and n numbers of negative out here, right? What did I write? I should have written positive. The acid can have n positive, then here it will be n minus, right? Once you allow the acid's aqueous solution to get into action, it will release n plus ions, nx, n minus ions. Agreed? Right? So what happens? This and this pairs up and it forms Mn plus, Xn minus. This is your salt. And this hydrogen will absorb so many numbers of electrons and neutralize. And this will give rise to H. And two H's will combine to form hydrogen gas. Now look at this part. Losing electrons. OIL. Oxidation is loss of electrons. Then hydrogen is gaining electrons. RIG. Reduction is gain of electrons. Every single displacement reaction is a redox reaction. So do you understand? This will also be a redox reaction. We will see some examples, don't worry. So it also is a single displacement reaction, understood? And it is also a test for hydrogen. All these things qualify out here. Plus you have not read one chapter which is metals and non-metals. So another question may come up, what is the property of metals with acid? Metals react with acid to produce metal salts. So question will, see, CBSE's course is such that you have 26 marks from bio, 22 and 22. Nobody can ask you so many questions from all the chapters. So they will pick up a question which actually is a horizontal across all chapters. Such questions are very important. They form a part of metals and non-metals. They form a part of acid, bases, and salts. They also form a part of chemical reactions. Shall we take some reactions? Yes, children.
Can you explain food safety first?
Food safety. Food safety is acids. Any food that contains acid. Pickles, achar. They are not supposed to be stored in metallic containers, because no matter how much it is, after any acid, however weak it will be, there will be some reaction over a prolonged period. If you are keeping achar in metallic containers, then you will find that what happens is that the metal will react with that particular acid and it will create toxic substances. Now, many of you at your homes nowadays, for storing, say, salt, I'm not saying the salt on your table, the salt that you use for cooking, there are two options. You can keep the salt in plastic container, or you have glass jars with metallic caps. One twist. Have you seen these one twist ones, in which during Diwalis you get a lot of blueberries and other stuff? You can use those bottles. Open the bottle if you are using salt for the cooking purpose. Like in my home, the cooking salt is in that bottle. If I open up the cap and I look the cap from inside, it is continuously under the salt environment. Slight corrosion will happen. Although when you buy the bottle new, it's not a bottle, I should call it a jar. When the jar is new, it looks to have a very shiny copper lid, but it will corrode off. Okay? Plastics, we generally think that moisture leakage might happen, then the salt will become soggy. Shall we see one example and try to understand and answer all our questions as a part of the example? Chalo. Let's see an example. Common one. Zinc as solid reacts with HCl, or say H2SO4 ले लो, आपकी मर्जी, aqueous. Okay, this is dilute H2SO4, gives you ZnSO4. This is aqueous and releases hydrogen gas. Right? Acid reacts with metal to form metal salt. Let's see the reactions. Complete mechanism. H2SO4 in aqueous mode will always split up. It will give 2 ions of hydrogen and SO4, 2 minus. Both are aqueous. These are floating. Party कर रहा है पूरा, ठीक है ना? Ions are in aqueous medium. Ions are aqueous means in what state they are? They are in aqueous state. Right? Clear? Zinc as a metal, you will never get a zinc because it is not inert. Zinc is not inert. So zinc will be available in +2 and it will release 2 electrons. Right? So this is what OIL, oxidation, is loss of electrons. Who is getting oxidized? Zinc is getting oxidized. If you want to do it with oxidation state, let's do. What is the oxidation state of zinc here? 0. What about sulfur? This is -2. Hydrogen is +1 and sulfate is -2. Then here, this is -2, this is +2, and this is 0. Look at the oxidation state of zinc. From 0, you became +2. Oxidation. So here also it's oxidation. So far you were doing only by oxidation state. Now you are dealing with electrons. This is OIL. Right? Fine. So a Manglik boy has been created and a Manglik girl is already there. So Zn2 plus SO4 2 minus aqueous converts to from ZnSO4 aqueous. Now you can ask me, sir, can you tell this is an oxidation or reduction? I will say nothing. No, +2 is still +2, -2 is still -2. This is no oxidation reduction. Nothing is happening. But where is the reduction? The reduction will come when our 2H plus will react with the 2 electrons. These 2 electrons were liberated by whom? Zinc. So this will form 2 atoms of hydrogen, which will combine to form 1 molecule of hydrogen. Did you understand? Now this is RIG, oil rig. Reduction is gain of electrons. So look, what is the oxidation state of hydrogen out here? +1. What is the oxidation state? 0. +1 to 0. plus 1 to 0, you've gone down. So it is a case of reduction. Understood clearly now? Anyone, any doubt you can ask? Question is, how much am I studying at home? Hey, I hope you all are studying, right? Goli mat maro. For all online children, I have already discussed here. Our next class is from morning onwards. Because our next class is on Friday. Friday is 1st of May. And 1st May, our class starts at 9 o'clock. 1st May is also known as International Laborers Day. Laborers Day. So, you know now who are the laborers. Labor is not the person. I hope you know that in English, right? Labor is the effort that somebody puts. Who puts that effort is known as a laborer. Yeah. Many people have many plans. Some people have cricket plans also, ticketing plans. A lot of plans are happening. So all evenings are free. Okay. I just can't change my grade 9 classes, you know. All my evenings would have been free, but my grade 9 I'm unable to do. There's one boy from Dubai. And he does not have holidays now. He has holidays in July. Just for him, everyone is cursing him now. We are unable to change classes. Chale, aage. So understood this? Our next reaction will be acid with metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate. Neil, using the same copy for physics and chemistry, or you brought a wrong copy today? Arey, chha gaya yaar. Acid plus metal carbonate. Another will be acid plus metal. We'll learn everything detailed. Hydrogen carbonate. Okay. So let's look at it. Acid means something like HX. Agreed? Metal carbonate, MCO3. Carbonate is CO3. Carbonate, CO3 2 minus. Where did it come from? H2CO3. Remember that. So MCO3. So what all can I expect? What all can I expect out here? First is I will get a metal salt. No doubt about it. MX. So definitely carbon dioxide will come out. Yes, beta. Carbon dioxide comes out from CO3. It became CO2. One oxygen is still remaining. That will react with the hydrogen to give you water. The only difference in this examples are when you go for balancing, here we will be reacting it with 2 and we'll get 2 of salt, means you will get 2 out here, 2. In the other one, you will get only 1. That's the only difference. We'll see them. Okay. So in the other reaction also, other one I'm writing, we will get a metal salt, we will get carbon dioxide, and we will get water. What all questions can come from this? The first and the most important question is test of carbon dioxide. Test of carbon dioxide. So let's see one example and then we will see the test of carbon dioxide once again. Okay. So let's see. Suppose we have taken an acid which is Huckel. Huckel in aqueous form reacts with metal carbonate. What is carbonate? Iron. You will never make a mistake. CO3 2 minus. You're reacting it with sodium from group 1. Sodium is Na plus. So I need 2 plus to balance this. This is sodium carbonate. So I will get what? I'll get a metal salt. My metal salt will be Nacal plus Kau plus Hatuo. So let's put Na2CO3. Sodium carbonate. Salt hai. Aqueous. This is also aqueous gas. And this is liquid. Now if you want to balance it, since you are reacting with metal carbonate, this will be 2 and this will be 2. That's all. Metal carbonate. Clear? Now let's look at metal hydrogen carbonate. Hydrogen carbonate. Hydrogen carbonate beta is also known as bicarbonate. Bicarbonate means one hydrogen has come. Hydrogen carbonate. Carbonate was CO3 2 minus. Hydrogen comes as H plus. Will eat up 1 minus and will become HCO 3 minus. Did you understand the logic? CO3 is 2 minus. Hydrogen ion is H plus. Plus and 2 minus is 1 minus, which is appearing out here. This is also known as bicarbonate. Bicarbonate, starting with the word B. Baking soda starts with B. So it will be baking soda. Baking soda, keep it written. Baking soda. Baking soda. There's a difference between baking soda and baking powder. Yeah. Baking soda is also known as NaHCO3, also known as sodium bicarbonate, also known as sodium hydrogen carbonate. Be very clear with these things. Baking soda is sodium carbonate. No, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Baking is B, bicarbonate is B. And what we used here, sodium carbonate. People say this is washing soda. This is not washing soda. Washing soda is Na2CO3.10H2O. अच्छा वो भी लिख लो, बाद में काम में आएगा भाई साहब. Na2CO3 is sodium carbonate, right? Colloquial name is soda ash. Soda ash. Soda ash. People say that this is washing powder. It can be given you, marks can be given when you are in grade 8, but since you are now in grade 10, you should be very perfect. What is washing soda? Washing soda is Na2CO3.10H2O. This is washing soda. What will you call it chemically? Hydrated sodium carbonate. Hydrated. Hydrated salts are colored, but this is white in color. This is not colored, it is white in color. ये सब याद रखिए. Baking powder is tartaric acid will be there, and that's why baking powder will release that H plus. Too much of baking powder will always make it. If you use baking soda and try to make muffins, your muffins will become hard and they will also become bitter because it can't withstand heat. Baking powder does not have any water in it. So when you add, baking powder has tartaric acid. When you add it in a batter, it reacts with the moisture and immediately will release H plus, which will actually eat up these carbonates, and both will release carbon dioxide, no issues. But baking powder is not good for, baking soda is not good for cakes. However, if you want to make, not chocolate cake, if you want to make things like puri, bhatura, chola bhatura's bhatura, have you seen the moment they throw it, it becomes, so the best bhatura, if you go by my chef's version, happens with Eno. We keep Eno at home, and whenever we make bhaturas, we make that maida dough using Eno. So if you put Eno is sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate. So it's acting like a baking soda. It will immediately create carbon dioxide. Phul ke aayega. But bhatura does not undergo that much of temperature. Cake undergoes high temperature for a long time. So if you use soda for making cake, it will make it bitter and hard. Okay? So let's see this reaction now. The next reaction. This was children the first reaction. The second reaction would be acid HCl aqueous reacts with sodium hydrogen carbonate, not CO3. No, CO3 aqueous, or this can be solid also. Okay, it will give you again Nacl plus CO2 plus H2O, aqueous. This one is gas and this one is liquid. Acha, in many books you may find that they may write this as solid and they may write this as solid. It depends. If you even bring a little bit of solution, it doesn't mean that the reaction will be drastically different. Okay. This is a reaction that we use even in fire extinguishers. All the fire extinguishers, Tosa, can I go ahead and talk a little bit about that if you're done? So, shall I? So much of questions. Fire. Fire has three arms: fuel, oxygen, heat. In order to stop fire, please cancel any one arm, whichever you can. Either you stop the fuel supply, or you cut off the oxygen, or you pour a lot of water and bring down the heat. In either way, you can stop fire, right? Fire extinguishers are of different types. We have got one type which is known as foam. Foam fire extinguishers are very seldom to be used. If you use, you have to pay a fine to the government also, because foams contain CFCs, chlorofluorocarbon, which deplete the ozone. But foam is very effective. Used in bizarre scenarios like some petroleum fire or something has happened, they will use foam. Foam will immediately cut off oxygen. The other type of fire extinguishers we have are known as DCP and CO2 types. This is very common. DCP is dry chemical powder. Very means as far as possible don't use. In our apartments, our security guards somehow have got a very good liking for this. This is very dangerous. I mean, we have paid the price. I paid the price last month. 17th, I stay in 14th floor and my daughter is in her room, the window is open. Window is open means we have the mesh. 17th floor AC caught fire. The security came in, there were two this. He used this one. This one will release chemical powder and you will only feel the powder. You can't collect the powder. The entire house at 14th floor of ours became all white. And you can't sweep it. The more you sweep it, the more it will fly. And if you're standing there in 1 minute, you will become like those ghost stories like auntie, all white you will become. Very dangerous. Clean only one way, wet clothes and try to wipe out as much as possible. It will be on everything. You touch the book, you have got powder. You touch yourself, you'll have. And that too, it has happened at 17th floor. It came through that mesh and in 1 minute our floor has become bed, floor, everything white. This is very dangerous. CO2 is very interesting one. CO2 fire extinguishers also use this same reaction. In a fire extinguisher, what will happen? They will sometimes say we are taking the fire extinguisher for refilling. So what they will do, they will refill a lot of baking soda into it. And there will be a glass jar inside. The extinguisher is like a conical shape. There will be a glass jar and the glass jar contains acid in it. So it will be written, during fire, pull the thread or strike the cylinder or strike the extinguisher on ground. Earlier we had to strike it. If you pull the thread, then the acid immediately leaks over the entire baking soda, producing a lot of CO2. At that position, guide yourself away from the fire and thaw in the direction of fire. So that's a CO2 extinguisher. All these ceasefires and all which you see, they are all CO2 extinguishers. Very effective, very effective. And CO2 being a non-supporter of combustion, CO2 will actually extinguish the fire. So on this question, we can be asked about competency-based, means fire extinguisher related question we may be asked. We may be also asked about how does sodium carbonate act as an antacid. Sodium carbonate, if there is any acidity in your stomach, reacts with it and immediately will produce salt, relieving the acid. And after having ENO, you will do CO2s will come out of your mouth. Sometimes when you have a lot of acidity and you're traveling in train and you don't have ENO and all, what you should have? Buy Coke. They all have carbon dioxide. At least somehow they will try to, but with carbonic acid, yeah, but at least some CO2s will relieve you. Okay. Shall we go ahead? Okay. Now the next question, the questions from here. The questions from here can be on fire extinguisher. The question can be on acidity. The question can be on metal carbonate because a lot of questions may come from the metal chapter, metal carbonates. One type of question that we'll get is based on CO2's test. Though I have done it in first chapter, we'll do it again. How this test is done? From the market, buy calcium oxide, react it with water like a painter, you will form what is known as calcium hydroxide. I'm not writing. If you want to write, you can write calcium oxide, water, calcium hydroxide. This is known as quicklime, slaked lime, quicklime, slaked lime. This is in Hindi the plain tuna that you get, which will eat your hands. Tuna mixed with water will make calcium hydroxide, slaked lime. Okay, slaked lime or calcium hydroxide reacts with CO2 in the environment and produces calcium carbonate, which is basically a non-soluble PPT, and will release water also in this whole process, right? CaOH2. Now this is the test of carbon dioxide. So in carbon dioxide test, we will bring this in test tube, which we known as, this is also known as lime water. Slaked lime when filtered through a cloth piece will give you clear water, ekdam clear. Arpar, I can see Anvita through lime water. But the moment they add carbon dioxide into it, clouding will start. White fumes will come up and then Anvita gone. That is the test of carbon dioxide. Okay. However, if you take the same CaCO3, right, and you bubble with excess CO2 in water, this is known as degasification. This will now form CaHCO3, and this is soluble. Calcium carbonate is not soluble, but calcium bicarbonate, and you should not be so much fussy about it. Don't you mix this as baking soda? Agar soluble nahi hota, how can you use it as food? Don't you drink it as ENO? Once you put it in water, it dissolves, ENO dissolves. So always use common sense. This is soluble, this is not soluble. Are we fine? And one of the cheap source of calcium carbonate is eggshells. After making not boiled eggs, boiled eggs are. Why does it do? Okay, if you use make omelets and after that dry the eggshells, and with those eggshells crush them in a mixie, quickest source of calcium carbonate. Chalk that you have in your school is also calcium carbonate. Done? Okay. Our next reaction. The next reaction is neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction. It is the reaction between acid, base, Asur and Devta. They will form salt plus water. Acid, Huckle, reacts with NaOH. Children, write in for NaOH, write sodium hydroxide, also known as king of base. This is known as king of base. It is the strongest base. Do not think that only acids are dangerous. If I splash one test tube of sodium hydroxide on your face, it will create same amount of burn. Too much of Harpic on your hand also is not good. Destroy tissues, and they are very slippery. But this is excellent. NaOH, what did you write? King of base. Also write caustic soda. लिख के रखो caustic soda. NaOH is also known as caustic soda. So its brother, maternal brother is KOH, caustic potash. KOH is known as caustic potash or potassium hydroxide. Just लिख के रखो, ये सब मतलब help करेगा आपको. KOH is known as caustic potash, caustic soda. Okay, before we go ahead and study about all these things, all of you have got chimneys in your house, right? So, and we are Indians, so we love those tarka type of cookings, and it will be all sticky, sticky. So chimneys have got baffles in them. You have to take out the baffle and clean them frequently. Although the chimney will say that this is an auto clean chimney, but there will be baffles which will have a lot of oil deposits. And if you don't clean it, then one day you will be cooking your favorite milk dish and you will see one drop of oil, it will fall on that. Now, if you take out those chimneys baffles and you start cleaning them with whatever detergent and all, it will take your whole years because it will be very, very sticky. So the best way to clean it is take some water, and in Amazon this is available, caustic soda as NaOH crystals. Put those in that bucket, dip your baffles and watch your favorite K series or K drama. By the time the episode is over, the baffle will come out absolutely clean. Nothing to do. This is a degreasing agent. That's why if you use Harpic, not Harpic, the red ones, the red bathroom cleaner, whatever, whether it's of Harpic or whether it's of Amazon, then the brand is known as Presto. Amazon's brand is known as Presto. Take out some red. I have it right now with me. You can smell it also. So it will have a distinguishable smell. Like last year also children did. But the moment it falls on your hand, it will be slimy, slimy. Right? And say suppose you are cleaning your granite slab of your kitchen. How to clean it? Initially just apply and just layer it up. Do not do gizo. You're not supposed to do hard work. You just apply it and leave it for some minutes. By that time, you do something else, come back, take a wet wipe or something and just start wiping. All the grease will go away. So it's a degreasing agent, NaOH. Okay, so what will it form? Nakal. And it will give you water. Children, this question may be asked in the form of exothermic reaction. You are making a god and a demon fight. So what will come out is a product which will release a lot of heat. This is also a neutralization reaction. Acha. And this is it a displacement or a double displacement? Just check. If it is double displacement, then there won't be any redox. So shall we check what is the state? What is about hydrogen +1, chlorine -1, right? +1, -1, +1, oxygen, hydrogen, OH overall is -1, right? And H2O is neutral. So here we have +1, -2. Has the oxidation state of anybody changed out here? No. So this is like a double displacement or a neutralization reaction. This is not a redox reaction. All reactions did not be redox. No one got oxidized, no one got reduced out here. Majo ayo? Yeah. Our next topic is acids have got corrosive nature. So you can write down mineral acids cause burn on skin, attack on skin. I think these are all not, I'm not going to teach all these things. These are very easy. I'm not going to teach. Acids are never kept in metal container. Or if you're not keeping that pickle in metal container, why will you keep the acid in a metal container? We won't. Strong bases like alkalis are also very dangerous. We have spoken about it. Let's pick up one question, okay, from the book and see whether we can answer it or not now. This question is something, it says that there is a metal compound, and the name of the metal compound is A for our friend Ali. Ali as a metal compound reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid, which means this is in aqueous form because it's reacting. Fine. And it produces effervescence. It produces effervescence. Do you know what is effervescence? Like that, okay? So it is producing effervescence. And in this effervescence, a gas was produced. And this gas was such that it could extinguish fire. Means happy birthday to you. It could extinguish the fire. Very good. What you need to do is that you need to write a BCE, which is a balanced chemical equation for this entire reaction. if one of the compound formed, if one of the compound formed is calcium chloride, and deliberately, children, I am not writing the formula of calcium chloride, so we want to test you on that also. One of the compound formed is calcium chloride. See, carbon dioxide coming out means it's a MCO3 reaction, simple. Now, whether it is MCO3 or MaHCO3, MHCO3, that we have to check. Okay? Chale? I have a metal compound. Metal compound means it has to be a metal carbonate, or reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid and gives calcium chloride. So recall your reaction. What was your reaction? Your reaction was metal carbonate reacts with dilute alcohol, will give you metal chloride plus CO2 plus H2O. This fellow extinguished the fire, right? This is the product that is formed. That means this is calcium chloride. Calcium is in which group? Second group, beta mange car scooter. Second group, CaCl2. That means this should be Ca2CO3. What doubt you all have? CaCO3, simple. CO3 is 2 minus. Calcium is from group 2. So CaCO3 reacts with what? CaCl2? I didn't get you, beta. Tell me.
So calcium chloride CaCl2.
I have written CaCl2. One of the product formed. Formed means it is a product. Means it will be on the right hand side. CaCl2. I have to identify what is the metal compound, which is CaCO3. Oh, okay, got it. I got it. I love the way he speaks English, it's so nice. Are you kidding me? Oral, I like the way he speaks. Reminds me of Vladimir from Kremlin. Last time I was posted in Moscow, I got a fellow like him. We were dealing in rubles. He said, no, I want dollars. I said, no, that's not possible because I'll be crossing the Polish border in 2 days. And I can't have so many AK-47s as you're asking. AK-556 is more in prevalence out here. My friend, he speaks like that. Roshnikov, Vlad. As that fellow says, speaking Russian is very easy. Play a vinyl disc and play it reverse and just keep on turning whooshnik, 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 and it comes like Russian, Will you answer this question now? So what will be the compound? The compound will be metal carbonate, which is calcium carbonate. You could have done this with calcium hydrogen carbonate also. No doubt about it. Okay. Another question. A solution. Okay. Let me see how much you can hear. It's a listening test now. CBSE children gives listening tests? Which subject? French?
English.
Means it should not be repeated twice, only once. A solution reacts with crushed eggshells to give a gas that turns lime water milky. The solution contains sodium chloride, hydrogen chloride, lithium chloride, or potassium chloride. Now, if anybody says, no, sir, please repeat the question, I'm going to throw this book from here. I don't mind my television getting broken, but it will give me a pleasure that I have smashed it on your face. Okay, I'll read it once again. A solution reacts with... Okay, I'm going to read it slow. Okay, very slow, right? A solution reacts with crushed eggshells to give a gas. So it is question mark plus CaCO3, and it gives a gas. That gas must be CO2 that turns lime water milky. So the solution contains NaCl, HCl, LiCl, KCl. So you are in little bit of dilemma. You are in dilemma because it was a question mark that is reacting with eggshells, which is nothing but Kako3, and it forms a gas. It forms a gas that turns lime water milky. This is the information given to us. And then we are given options like whether it is HCl, NaCl, LiCl, and the last one is KCl. Let's see. LiCl group 1, lithium chloride. NaCl group 1, KCl group 1. Okay, lithium chloride, and then another is HCl. CaCO3, calcium carbonate, is a basic salt. It's a basic salt. You are releasing carbon dioxide, a basic salt. If you put it in water, it will give you calcium hydroxide, which is very, basic. Are you getting carbon dioxide as a child? That means this should be an acid. Well, the acid, this one is acid, and this one is reacting. You got it? Very good. Did you understand? I know that, child. I really appreciate you. I've already sent an email to the Nobel Academy to enlist your name for the next Nobel Prize, along with mine also. क्या रे अत्रे आज वोट देने गया था क्या? बड़ा टायर्ड लग रहा है?
नहीं सर.
है? तुम्हारे एरिया में मारपीट हुआ कि नहीं? नहीं हुआ?
नहीं सर.
ठीक है. So though we have discussed this topic, before we end the class, one question to you. Now, since you have read so much about acids, somebody asks you whether you're a strong acid or a weak acid, concentrated or dilute, organic or mineral, what is common in you? Release H plus. Whether, I mean, I don't know, at night, 9 o'clock, somebody's hammering. Okay, whether you are a weak acid, whether you are a strong acid, whether you are what you call mineral acid, or you are an organic acid, you will always release H plus. So that is the thing that is common. And in our next class, what we will show is that, and I also discussed acids do not show acidity in the absence of water. A common question is hydrochloric acid turns blue litmus into red. Hydrogen chloride gas does not do that. Okay. And in our next class, we'll be talking about some reactions of bases. And in next class itself, we will also migrate to salts. Our next class is on Friday, which is a physics class, and it happens at 0900 IST. So please sleep to your choice on the previous night. How many of you naturally wake up before 9 o'clock? Well, honest, raise your hands. Honest, raise your hands. Okay, good. Actually, you are voting in favor or just like that? Very good. Aditi, dekho, honestly, Aditi has not raised her hand. Then Shreya has not raised her hands. Right, good. Nari Pragatishil, girls are sleeping late. So all the best to you all. And no joining the class with camera off and saying, sir, I'll just switch on. There is some glitch. I know all these glitches. These glitches happen only at 9 o'clock in the morning. See you then. And goodbye for now. Right.